This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
You are listening to Lucha Afterground.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lucha Afterground, the premier Lucha Underground after show. Thanks for joining us. My name is Max.
And my name is Travis.
Welcome everybody to this post Aztec Warfare 3 world.
Wow.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff to talk about. Mm-hmm. Trav, just right off the bat, like, how many stars did you give this?
I didn't think it was as good as the two previous Aztec Warfares, but I still went 4.25.
Whoa, 4.25, yeah.
That's high. I'm based on what a lot of people are how some of the early responses to this. That does feel a little bit high, but I had a great time, man. I had a great time, and I'll talk more about like the overall thing once we get through it.
Sure. Okay. My hot take is the highs were very high and the lows seemed very low.
Yeah,
and there was just.
But I didn't think there were a lot of lows. I
guess not lows, but missed opportunities, or just mild disappointments. Mild disappointments. Anyways, let's get to it. Oh, in terms of news and notes this week, the only thing that I found that I thought was notable, maybe you encountered some other things, is I don't know if you remember from season 1, there was the character played by Sean Davari, like the rich guy, the bald Indian guy,
who's always had he had a drink with him.
Yeah, always had a drink. So he did an interview recently, and they were talking about Lucha Underground and why he was not back for season 2. And I guess they had lined up a angle between him and Big Rick for season 2. Big Rick retires, and then they basically said, "Hey man, we have nothing for you. Sorry." They bring him back, and he actually wrestled a dark match in Ultima Lucha Dos, which never aired. Yeah, and that's the last thing he ever did. So he was in plenty of season 1, did nothing for season 2, came back, did one match for Ultima Lucha Dos, which never aired. And then he cut his ties, basically.
Interesting. That's too bad. He was okay.
Anyways, less news, more of a note.
Got it.
More of a note.
Got it.
Other than that, I don't really have much else to talk about with the world of Lucha Underground. Anything on your side?
Nope. Like I said, there's been a lot of response to this, and I will kind of address my thoughts, and I'll talk about it when I get to the end. I'm a little pissed off about some of the things that are being said.
Wow. Okay. I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right. So take us through it.
Lucha Underground, Season 3, Episode 11, Aztec Warfare 3. First segment, the only behind the scenes vignette of the thing. Dario Cueto walking down the hall, twirling his key. He's stopped by Johnny Mundo, who's being filmed by Taya, a documentary about his life, which is hilarious.
Yeah, no kidding. I want this to be released.
To come out, for sure. Says he will win Aztec Warfare 3 and get both belts, which would be pretty cool. I like that they've just kind of teased this idea.
It's nothing that even occurred to me as like being possible. And when they introduced it here, I was like, that would be pretty cool. Like, how would they deal with that? You know, interesting territory.
But he says if I do end up losing, he wants a match with the champ next week, and shows that he's number 12, and Dario is not fazed by this, grabs the number, changes it to number 2. Says the only thing you'll be fighting for is your life.
That's right. I love the all too often in wrestling, I think, even today in this time of like anti-hero, the bad guys are too quickly aligned with one another. Yeah. And I like how they just have this constant tension, or not tension really, because it's quite upfront, but this just constant like battle between Johnny Mundo and Dario Cueto. Dario Cueto just does not like Johnny Mundo. And which is great.
It's good. That's a big thing that I liked overall for this is there was so much consistency between characters and dynamics and stuff that had happened in the past was kind of brought back in various forms. This is just the start of it.
Yep. Nice to see Taya. I thought this was like, okay, so Taya will be in Aztec Warfare, but no, apparently not.
No, because I think she's hurt. She's hurt at this time. Well, I think both her and Ivelisse are hurt. Yeah, but I liked it. It was a good quick little segment.
Yeah, totally.
And here we go. Enter the temple. We got the Aztec performers like we did last year. Great atmosphere. The crowd is chanting Aztec Warfare. Just awesome. And you know what, Max?
What?
We're skipping it this week. I'm calling an audible. I'm not going to sing the song.
All right.
We're not because we'd be forcing it. We could try to name something there. You know what I'm talking about.
I know you don't even want to say it out loud.
I don't even want to say it out loud because
let's move on.
Yeah, they've caught on to us, I think.
All right. One thing I do want to say is I noticed that there was a woman in the crowd. This wasn't the person right behind Matt Stryker and Vampiro. But there was just a woman wearing a Marty the Moth Aztec Pride shirt, and I was like, "What?
Yeah,
what? You can't possibly be a Marty the Moth fan,
or maybe she has Aztec ancestry."
I guess. I think they just
but also this guy. No, he's got a following, and he seems like he's a friendly guy on Twitter and has tweeted his fans and stuff. So we don't know him outside.
He turned me around today.
Yeah. We'll get to that part. I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
So Dario Cueto stands in the ring as the crowd is chanting. Like I said, great atmosphere. Melissa is just as psyched as everybody. She introduces Matanza, and then Dario calls her over, and we hear him make the change. I thought that was a really great exchange. I like that he was mic'd up for that. And as we saw, Johnny Mundo is called in at number 2. He removes his sunglasses, had a great look on his face.
Oh, yeah, I have that marked down too. Just his face at the top of the stairs is he's scared.
Yeah,
he's scared to step in there.
Yeah, and it does feel like this is the guy who just had that conversation with this.
Yeah, totally.
This is when they talk about the insurance policy of the Gift of the Gods and the Lucha Underground Championship. I like that idea. Some good Johnny Mundo try to dodge stuff with Matanza kind of chasing him and catching him and just stopping him with strength and stuff. And then enter number 3, Son of Havoc.
Nice.
He enters with a stomp off the top onto Johnny Mundo, who is on Matanza's back at this time.
Yeah, and a fireman's carry.
Yeah. I like that everybody had a good entrance. Would come in and get a good move for the most part.
Yeah.
The people who needed it.
Sure. Yeah. Son of Havoc comes in super hot. He had those back-to-back standing shooting star presses, which were just money. One thing I began to notice here is, and I had suspected this in the past, but I think that they are layering in sound effects for a lot of super kicks and stuff like this.
Yeah, there's sometimes those leg slaps can resonate.
No, that's why I give them the benefit of the doubt. If they've been doing it for seasons. Yeah. But today, this one solidified it for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, especially when
Jeremiah Crane comes in next. I was going to say after, there was a really quick, again, the action is fast and furious, but there's that really cool double team with Son of Havoc and Johnny Mundo, where Johnny Mundo kind of had a leg sweep to help bring him down.
Yeah, totally.
And just piling in all these things. Everyone was working together, man. One of the things I was going to say at the end here is I find these kinds of matches inspiring because it is an entire ensemble working together, especially in this world where the championship, I doubt, or I could be way off, but I would imagine there's way less backstage politics because everyone's committed. Look, we're telling a story. It's not going to be necessarily based on work rate or whatever kind of thing. It's guys who
Cobra Moon proves that.
I think. Well, we'll get to it. I love seeing that. It reminds me of being in a theater company and how everyone is working towards a common goal and stuff. Sure. And you've got your time and here's our performance. Bang, 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 bang. We only get one shot at this and it's done.
Yeah.
A bunch of kicks from everybody to when Jeremiah Crane comes in. A bunch of kicks to his face. Nice work from.
I was really impressed with
Jeremiah Crane.
Yeah. Do I refer to him by his character name or do I refer to him as
Sammy Callahan?
Sammy Callahan, which probably isn't his real name.
No,
anyway.
He didn't get a very long. I thought he was in there a little. He could have been in there longer. But during his time in there, he did a lot of good stuff.
Oh no, I like the fact that he was Listen, I think that who's ever the freshest person or who's ever the newest person who's been introduced, the newest character, probably should go out first. That makes some sense.
In the case of Matanza, you had to have, when he made his debut, you had to make him come out looking like a monster. Depends on what you want to do with the character.
That's true.
And I don't think he's in a worse spot now than he was.
Oh, no, totally not. I think what you had mentioned before about just the combos that Son of Havoc and Mundo were doing when Jeremiah Crane comes in. That's like, I just don't know. I'm not confident saying either one. Comes out. Just the three of them working together, we're doing that just like another tick up. And I would love to see these three work in an extended match. Sure. One on one.
Yeah, because I was going to say you got to see really nice work from all three of them when Matanza was on the outside. Yeah. It was
so impressive.
Yeah.
And then
number 5.
Yeah, Pentagon Dark comes out earlier than I expected him to come out. For sure. I expected him to be a late addition. But no,
there was a method to why they had him in here. There was a method to most of these selections, and I think most of these, or I think there was a couple that were probably last minute replacements.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah. This is going to be the first of my gear-related complaints.
Okay.
For this episode. This is really the whole thing that I was my biggest gripe with the whole Aztec Warfare 3 involves gear.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And this is number 1. And I think that this isn't necessarily associated with Aztec Warfare 3 because I think that this is probably has already made its appearance before and I just didn't realize it. But Pentagon Dark wears like the Roman Reigns like body armor.
You're right.
What the hell?
Yeah.
They should not. No, why are people wearing that?
I don't know.
It looks so stupid.
It does look stupid.
You have to take it off.
Kevlar.
Yeah, what are you doing?
It's bizarre.
It just makes you look not tough.
Yeah, or I don't know. It's supposed to make you look more, I don't know, militant. I don't know what.
For a guy who benefits so much from slapping people in the chest as loudly as possible, what business does he have wearing stuff like that will dampen that same slap done to him?
Maybe that he's had too many receipts cashed on him, and he's like, no more. Zero slapple.
Oh, God. Yeah, man, I'm just not... Gotta get rid of that. You can wear it out to the ring, and then take it off because otherwise you just come across as a wimp.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Welcome to Slam Town, you pasty string bean.
So Pentagon enters with a super kick to Matanza, and we go to break. I thought the breaks were in good spots, just like last year. Pentagon Dark, when we come back, Pentagon Dark has been dominating a bit and throwing his those kind of sling blade clotheslines that he does.
He loves those.
Yeah.
You know who else loves those? Finn Balor.
Who? Finn Balor. Yeah.
They both hammer on those.
Yeah. And then we see Matanza and Pentagon Dark renew acquaintances, as they said, and enter number 6, the Darewolf, PJ Black.
Right on. I would have liked to have seen... They had been teasing some kind of character for him, a little bit more character. You have this moment where the whole camera is focused right on the Darewolf, just something. Yeah, instead of just like popping up and walking down the stairs without any... Man. That's exactly what they should have done.
Yeah. Anyways, great spot between who's my JC?
Who is JC?
Jeremiah Crane.
Oh, yeah.
Sammy Havoc and Johnny Mundo out of the corner. PJ then gets to show off his aerial offense.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah. Worldwide Underground starts to double team Son of Havoc and Jeremiah Crane.
I noticed here, Stryker, during that double team, Stryker called the move as a pop-up flapjack cutter. And I was just like, Is he just making these things up? This doesn't seem real.
Based out of the lumberjack camps.
A pop-up flapjack cutter. Does that sound real?
Maybe. Let us know, guys.
Is a flapjack cutter... We could Google it, but I refuse.
Yeah, just like Dr. Wagner. Number 7, Mariposa. At this point, we see Pentagon Dark is choking Matanza on the outside with like the cable.
Yeah.
Mariposa enters with a nice double drop kick, so she got her little spot.
As soon as Mariposa is announced, she's at the top of the stairs, and Vampiro just belts out a "ew."
Yeah. Yeah, there's some odd choices on the mic there today or on Wednesday.
I should grab that for the soundboard.
Yeah, definitely. Jeremiah Crane hits a package pile driver on Mariposa.
Oh, the Crane Driller?
Yeah, is that what that was called?
Yeah, they announced it as the Crane Driller. Man, that looked brutal.
Yeah, how is it different from Pentagon Darks?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it is. Anyways, Matanza gut wrenches Jeremiah Crane right out of that for the first pin, and Jeremiah Crane is eliminated. And then we see this I like this kind of weird exchange between Mariposa and Matanza.
It's the first time either one of them has really had any sort of character development.
Yeah, it's a nice little tease. I don't know if they're going to go anywhere with it.
God, I hope they do.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they do have, they set up the next program for Matanza. We'll get to that later. But right after they've kind of exchanged this kind of glance, he hits a choke slam on her for the pin. So that's quick. Mariposa is eliminated. And
I think one of the things I dislike about Mariposa is when she's like playing with her pigtails.
Yeah, that's tied to the kind of moth creepiness kind of thing. I guess. She's a little weird and creepy. Number 8, Rey Mysterio Jr.
All right, this is my second gear-related complaint. What the hell gear was that?
I don't know. It's black.
It was like a Predator wig.
Oh, I did. Yeah, that was different. It was like dreadlocks out the back. That was a little different.
Awful looking. Somebody should have stopped that.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio.
Just pick any. Didn't even feel like him because it didn't look like him.
Yeah.
At times when he was like, it just felt like a completely different wrestler. I just needed to see him in his regular gear.
Sure. I think it's surprising. I in all the times that we've been in all these episodes we've done, I don't think I've ever heard you mention anything about any of the wrestlers' gear. Anyways, Rey Mysterio tries to enter. He is stopped by Worldwide Underground, and then really like kind of chaos ensues. This one never reached that level of chaos that we had last year. That was really
so true,
awesome. But that it didn't have to. They got close at times, and then we saw Rey and Pentagon Dark stand in the ring. And then Worldwide Underground decided they're going to hide under the ring, pulling Young Bucks on us.
Yeah, that was fine.
It was good, yep. And then number 9, Dr. Wagner Jr. Double teams Rey Mysterio with Pentagon Dark. Nice couple of spots between the three of them. Remember, they put on a nice little show, quick little, like I said, I think there was probably like 3 or 4 little sequences. It was good.
Yep.
Number 10, Marty the Moth Martinez. And so here, this was interesting. This is what, like you're saying, you like. I'm assuming this is what you like, is when he kind of came in and he was face to face with Matanza, and it turned into a bit of a hoss fight for a second.
Oh, yeah. Marty walks in to the ring and slaps Matanza across the face. Listen, I know that wrestling is not real. Yeah. But in that moment, I was like, Marty the Moth, you're the bravest man alive. It totally got me.
That I thought was because like he was supposed to be coming in as like, here's our chance, our big chance, who's going to take this guy down. So it was a little inconsistent with his character.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I got a glimmer of the possibility of a babyface Marty the Moth, and I loved it. I loved the idea.
Yep.
The guy is huge. He's a fantastic performer on and off the mic. The guy, I don't understand why this guy, like, if you go back and you look at all those promos, and there's nothing more dangerous than asking someone to act crazy.
Yeah.
And he manages to pull it off in a way that is not embarrassing and is actually pretty good. I'm just shocked that he isn't being pulled towards WWE like actively. Maybe he is, but the guy can do everything.
I like that. Max is putting over Marty.
Really? No, for sure.
Yeah,
because he definitely is coming across like he has the hardest character to pull off, and he pulls it off. Yeah. And so everything else should be less of a challenge and more of a success. And when he comes in, he slaps Matanza like that. It was like, oh man, this is he can do it. He can do it all.
Do something different. Yeah, I think there was and that was kind of a pop gauge. Like I think if there's a time when you're going to be kind of gauging like reaction, this is the kind of match to do that. I think there was a kind of a bit of a gauge in the way that Matanza Mariposa exchange too. Kind of thing is like, maybe we can turn this into storylines later. Maybe not. Maybe we can see if it doesn't work or if it does.
Maybe they were implying that he was upset with Matanza because of it's
possible.
The
That's a
weird
good point.
stuff that was going on with Matanza and Mariposa.
Get your hands off my sister.
Yeah, and they have been teasing some weird stuff with Marty and Mariposa touching foreheads and weird stuff like that. Here's how I would turn Marty babyface. He suffers a head injury, and then he's in a coma for several weeks. And then he comes to, and it's back to business as usual. He knows his sister, whatever. He gets put into a tag match with maybe his sister plus some other douchebags. Mm-hmm. And then he's sort of like kind of appalled at everybody's behavior. And he's like, no, I don't want to cheat. I don't want to do this stuff. And then he turns on somebody.
Sure.
Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
I think it could be good.
All right. He'd have to clean himself up a bit.
He would. Yep. He would. Maybe he saves Masquerade Sagrada.
Maybe.
From something.
Maybe.
Something like that.
Anyways, he had a nice crazy dive to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then comes number 11, Jack Evans. Worldwide Underground celebrates. I like that they're just jumping around with their arms up in the air. That was pretty funny. They're like just a bunch of bratty kids.
Yeah.
And then this is, again, another point where there was too much going on, but in a good way. Worldwide Underground Triple Team, Son of Havoc, and eliminate him. And then number 12, Sexy Star. And she goes right after Johnny Mundo.
Yeah, this is my third gear-related disappointment. Sexy Star has a closet full of amazing gear. Yeah. And she showed up wearing
Nobody
her
really
least
changed
interesting
up that I know of.
Yeah, her least interesting, the least sexy of Sexy Star's gear.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
at least come up with the wings. Remember the classic wings?
Yeah, and this did still have the kind of pageantry of the at the beginning, this Aztec Warfare, but it didn't have the extra kind of flair that we had seen in other ones too. I think that's here.
I was hoping for some real hot entries into the Drago Award for non-Drago related gear, and guess what? There wasn't any.
Zilcho. It's true. But yeah, so they go to a commercial there. And that's about the halfway point in the show. So why don't we take a quick little break and hear some words from our friends at Place to Be Nation.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Voice of Ring of Honor's Kevin Kelly here. I just want to make sure you're all subscribed to all of our great feeds here at Place to Be Nation. Now, it's really easy to do. Just head to iTunes or your preferred podcatcher app today and search for and subscribe to the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed, Place to Be Nation pop feed, Pro Wrestling Only feed, and of course, the Kevin Kelly Show feed, which includes the full archives of my podcast. Subscribe, listen, and then rate us and leave feedback today. And of course, as always, enjoy all the great action of Ring of Honor Wrestling and everything presented to you on PlaceToBeNation.com.
Place to Be Nation's JT Rosero here, and I want to let you know that we have a ton of great podcasts available to you on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and PlaceToBeNation.com, and we offer them to you across two great feeds. On the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed, you can check out Scott Criscolo and me on the Mothership, the Place to Be podcast, with our famous Vintage Vault pay-per-view reviews. PTBN also covers current-day wrestling with the smash hit clotheslines and headlines, our steady veteran main event, and the beloved monthly pay-per-view reaction shows with immediate feedback on all pro wrestling super shows. Relive wrestling's past with our monthly pay-per-view rewind series led by Ben Morse, the always contentious Dangerous Alliance podcast, and Survey Says, a fun look back at the good, bad, and ugly of WCW. On our very popular Place to Be Nation Pop podcast feed, we offer such great shows as the Glenn Butler Podcast Hour Spectacular, Rank and File, NBA Team, Lucha Undead, Geek and Sassy, and a veritable podcast heaven for comic fans with hard-traveling fanboys, Sellers Points, Todd Weber's Conversation, and Imaginary Stories. Subscribe to both of those feeds on iTunes and rate and leave feedback for us as well. All of these shows plus others available at PlaceToBeNation.com, where we cover pro wrestling, sports, movies, comics, plus tournaments and more. Be sure to support our site by using PlaceToBeNation.com/Amazon when doing your online shopping, and download our free Place to Be Vintage Vault Refresh ebooks via the links on the right-hand side of our site. We also want to thank our friends at Bonehead's Wing Bar in West Warwick, Rhode Island, and Fall River, Massachusetts, TheHistoryOfWrestling.com, and Scott Keats' Blog of Doom. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr as well. PlaceToBeNation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
The PWO PTBN feed has changed its name. Now it will be known simply as Pro Wrestling Only, so it should be easier to find and indeed to say. All of your favourite shows are still here, including Where the Big Boys Play, Letters from Kayfabe, Titans of Wrestling, Tag Teams Back Again, This Week in Wrestling, and many, many more, including our full archives of tremendous content. So make sure you subscribe to the Pro Wrestling Only feed today.
Hey, Rios, how you doing?
Who's
Fine. It's you guys busy tonight? It looks like it could be a long night. Louise, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a hooker that's always getting busted and near their precinct, and so she's kind of become part of the.
You know what? I'll accept it if it's a male hooker. Same voice. It's fine.
Good, yeah, good. I like it.
Same voice.
All right,
good.
All right.
We're really building out the cast. Who would you cast from the wrestling world as that?
Pimpernella
Escalita? Yep. Sounds good.
All right, we come back to Worldwide Underground really beating up on Sexy Star. Jack Evans hits a real like gymnast-like move, that kind of back handspring to the outside.
Jack Evans is so good.
Yeah, he didn't get to kind of steal the show like he did last time here, but still had some good spots. Again, other great spots follow from PJ Black and Mundo. And then number 13, enter Ricky Mandel.
I groaned.
Yeah.
I groaned,
like,
dude. I know.
Is this, especially because, okay, look, I think that, like, there's a couple things here where, like we said, they're probably just kind of having to fill spots at the last second.
Yeah. And they also probably want to
remind us about him.
No, I don't know. I think they just have some sort of like, hey, you're part of the family. We haven't used you. You're in this now. Here's some money.
Yeah, I guess. But like when I go back to him getting those 3 pictures, remember?
God,
are we supposed to completely forget about that? See, I always thought that was related to the rabbits. I'm terribly confused.
I know, me too. It's man, talk about the rabbits. There was no rabbits in this.
No
Can we
rabbits.
talk about that now?
Sure.
Where?
Clear.
I don't even know.
I
what
would
to say.
imagine that they have a real plan for them for their debut and the stuff that's going to follow that just wasn't going to fit in with this.
I guess
thing, right?
There just seems like why? Okay, why would you eliminate Cage, Tejano?
I was thinking that too.
Phoenix, Aerostar, Killshot. You have all these people who fans care about. And instead, you take them out of the equation and you put in Ricky Mandel. Here's what you could have done. You could have easily, in that 5-on-5 elimination from last week to determine who was getting into Aztec Warfare and who wasn't, just pull out Killshot, put in Ricky Mandel. Or maybe not Killshot, but one of those guys. Sure. It doesn't even matter. Doggo. Where's Doggo?
I will say this. There was a recent interview with the Joseph, and it said... he said something about like, yeah, but what does torn apart really mean? So he could just be, his brain could just be...
his brain is in a jar.
Yeah. And he's just, all he knows is how to operate a sword now. That's all he knows.
I got nothing against Ricky Mandel, but if you're not going to use this to springboard him into some kind of feud or story...
Well, they needed someone to just come and get their ass kicked right away. Because that's what happened here. Pentagon Dark starts kicking his ass. It's familiar.
I do want to say, actually, the one gear-related highlight were Ricky Mandel's pants.
Okay, good.
They were actually pretty
All right,
good.
Nice. Thanks.
Good enough to make it into the nomination?
Probably not.
We'll see.
That's a low bar, man. I wouldn't...
Well, hey, so far we're 11 episodes in. The bar is still low.
Yeah. All right, we'll put him on for your consideration. Pentagon Dark kicks his ass, hits his finisher, is about to break his arm, and then boom, enter Black Lotus with
great.
3 fucking Joshi chicks,
That's
man.
right. And this is exactly... Longtime listeners will know this is my fantasy.
Yeah.
Bring in exactly that.
And this was, remember, my biggest disappointment in the end of the year awards was a poor women's roster.
Yes.
And here's 3 chicks who are awesome.
They're world class. The one, especially Io Shirai. She is, for my money, the best female wrestler in the world. And so the fact, apparently, the rumors are that she's being courted by NXT to be brought in there, which would make a lot of sense. Actually, that all 3 of those, I think the rumor is that once they're done with their Stardom contracts, that's the promotion they wrestle in Japan.
Stardom? Okay.
Yeah, they're going to move over to NXT, which would totally gut that promotion. So hopefully not. But that's... those 3, if you want to see some insane stuff. Okay. The name is Io. Last name Shirai. Shirai. Just look up Io Shirai GIF.
Yeah.
And just prepare to see have your mind be blown.
Yeah.
I mean, she did that sunset flip powerbomb.
Yeah.
On Pentagon Dark.
That
and that
great.
entire crowd was flabbergasted.
Yeah.
They had no idea that was coming. Not to mention that outrageous head scissors off the top. These girls, when you watch them wrestle, they are not only are they outstanding athletes, but man, they know how to tell a story in the ring as well. They are next level. Mm-hmm. I'm super excited to see them wrestle some more. One of these girls, what is her name? Mayu Iwatani. She has no bones. Yeah, she is. I think I have seen flexible. Some of her, so yeah. When she takes a backbreaker like no other, because it looks like she has been folded in half. Get ready for that. Yeah, it's one. I think it's a signature of hers. She was the one that came in and didn't do all that much. No, but all three of them are amazing. Yeah. I think it's going to be great. This is the type of thing I wish was happening in wrestling more often. Mm-hmm. The blending of talent across promotions, because a talent comes with a reputation that your promotion can then capitalize on. Mm-hmm. Far too often there are there's inflexibility within promotions to allow talent to move around, and that's why when it happens, it's just so interesting and so provocative. What happens in New Japan when they do these big tournaments, they'll bring in talent from all sorts of weird places. Like Billy Gunn is in the tag tournament. Right. That's a bad example, but it lends intrigue to it. I would just wish, and it's so great to see Lucha Underground do it here. They're doing it in a different way because they're not going to recognize their past as professional wrestlers. I doubt it, at least. No. I'm sure they'll all have new names and who knows what. If they are given a name. Yeah. But it's still really exciting to happen. And for me, I mean, I don't see a reason why you can't, we saw photos of Okada, the top champ in New Japan Pro Wrestling, being backstage at Lucha Underground. Yeah. For me, the real possibility is that he might show up and do something.
I hope so. I really do.
It would be amazing. Yeah. It would be amazing. And then everybody benefits. Yeah. Lucha Underground benefits. The people that, the wrestlers that he would face benefit. He benefits. It just works for everybody. Yeah. It's everybody. Yeah. The only person it doesn't work for is the McMahons.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, yeah, fuck those guys.
So I just love this. The four of them, this kick his ass, holy shit chant, and they're out of there as Johnny Mundo eliminates Pentagon Dark and Rey Mysterio because was it? Oh no, and Ricky Mandel. Sorry, pardon me, another RM here.
Yeah.
So another reason, I don't want to stay on this too long, but this opens up. So here's Pentagon Dark's angle going forward, and it's intergender, but it's an intergender that you can buy because it's like the four of them teaming up on him, and they're all like these trained assassins. Yeah, and it's just like a great reveal that these she's got these three people with her, and they're girls. That's awesome.
I know. I am curious. I just don't know. Speaking of which. I get that this is okay. So Pentagon Dark broke Lotus's arm, and therefore she's back for revenge. Sure, I can't help but feel like this would have been a more appropriate debut if they had sprung an attack on Dragon Azteca Jr. and not Pentagon Dark. I feel like the beef is there between. That's a stronger beef. Also, where was he?
Yeah, I know.
How do you have Ricky Mandel in this and you don't have Dragon Azteca Jr.?
Who knows?
Was he murdered by Chavo?
No.
Was he?
No. When Ray shouting out, Chavo, you think he was murdered in that
Well, scene? I had never thought about it until now.
I would side on the no side for the...
Because, Puma wasn't in this either.
No.
And I believe he was murdered.
Yeah, he's supposed to be literally dead. The story, kayfabe wise. Yeah, and then here another interesting choice, number 14, Masquerita Sagrada. I just wrote, I don't know.
It didn't seem necessary.
No.
I'm glad.
And then it's followed up with Famous B. So here it seems like this is where they felt like it was a little bit of filler.
Yeah.
But at least like they didn't spend too much time on it. They got it over with. I like that Matanza did like 2 tours of the islands before he landed his Wrath of the Gods there.
Mm-hmm. The Sagrada thing, he came out with a crotch chop for some reason, and then it did.
Did you see what Ron Funches tweeted about that?
No.
He's like something about me when I enter the bedroom and there's a girl waiting, kind of thing.
Nice. It felt like he was only there to get that tour of the islands. In a really extreme way.
Yeah. And, they had so many stories to get over, so maybe they had to just throw in these 3 quick kind of basically comedy spots, because it was one right after the other. It was Mandel, the brother of Howie, Ricky Mandel, Masquerita Sagrada, and Famous B, one right after the other. And so that was, a bit of a... you remember there were times when they had... they had done a better job of placing kind of spots to kind of catch your breath last year.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just looking up Io Shirai gifts right now. She doesn't wear very much clothes either.
Yeah. So whatever. This was that. And so Rey Mysterio. So after like who's that? Who am I thinking of? Who did he spike Rey Mysterio to eliminate? Oh, Marty eliminating him. And that entered number 16, the Mac. Hits a stunner, flip to the outside. Seems to get a nice... that's what I noticed. Everyone seemed to get a nice entrance. Definitely for the guys who they wanted to put over. Jack Evans is thrown into the chairs. And then number 17, Joey Ryan comes and redoes his handcuff spot.
I was fine with this in theory, as long as they were going to build upon it, which they did not. Why there was an insert shot.
I know. I was going to get to that.
Of ripping.
That was clearly like B-roll.
Yeah. Well, it was like. It didn't make any sense because the whole thing, you're trying to sell Mill's strength. Like, oh my God, he rips the handcuffs apart. But if you go and you look at that shot, the handcuffs just opened.
Open, yeah. I know.
What the hell?
Pretty weak.
You need the shot. Just don't include it.
I know.
And then because we don't know.
It was a dumb choice.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a gross analogy from Matt Stryker about toilet paper when Joey Ryan came in.
That was all right.
Yeah. I loved... the Mac did a body slam to Johnny Mundo with the chair on top of him on the outside.
Yeah, that was good. I thought Mac had a great performance for sure.
Sexy Star continues her fight with the Worldwide Underground, so there's continue to build on that. And then enter number 18, Mil Muertes, as you had said. And right away, they got to that B-roll footage as they cut him off. And Masquerita flatliner on Joey Ryan.
And at the same time, because they're Matanza and Muertes, they eliminate 2 people in stereo, and they basically are staring at each other while the pin is being made in unison.
That was awesome.
But who did Matanza eliminate?
Mil Muertes hit the flatliner on Joey Ryan. Matanza pinned Dr. Wagner. They're the double pin at the same time, and then both of them just kind of stand off. That was good. And so again, that's kind of a callback to their
great
previous,
moment.
Yep. Enter number 19, Cobra Moon, and she goes and sits her thick hips on that announce table.
Thick hips. Oh yeah, man. Like I don't know, this whole business that happened with Cobra Moon and with Drago in this, it just seemed so pointless. Cobra Moon comes out, gets into the ring just to be pinned later on. What was the point? Like,
because she's not that good of a wrestler.
Why is she there? I did think her entrance when she came out was good.
Yeah,
I think she plays her character well.
Yeah, I do too. There are some people. There's some people in this cast who play really great characters, but aren't necessarily the best wrestlers,
and vice versa.
Sure. Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yeah, well said. So she's on the table. Mac hits the stunner off of a sleeper from Jack Evans. Jack Evans is eliminated. PJ Black gets a pop-up stunner, and Mac eliminates him. So Mac's on a
I know.
on a roll
At this
here.
point, I was like, no. No way. Is this possible? Is this possible?
And that brings us to number 20, Drago.
What a disappointment. This is my disappointment of the year.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why do you care? He's a nice guy. He's fine.
It was
What do you not like about him?
I listen. I wanted special gear.
Why would they do
He didn't even come out with his wings.
What are you talking about, Wings? Why would this guy come out with anything different than he's ever had? That doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't see why it would upset you so much.
I also am not sure why it upsets me so much, but I just really built this up in my head that we were going to finally have some fresh Drago gear.
Right.
Because
Okay.
as you know,
I understand it.
As you know, he
he's
has
only
worn
worn the one.
No,
the
actually,
whole thing. So
Travis, no, you're wrong.
bring it up. Like, let's freshen it up, right?
He has worn.
Sick of green.
He's worn. Fuck you. Oh,
You're gonna say something?
Oh, right. Well, let me tell you. He's worn. When he started, he wore blue gear, and then for one match, he
like
wore
a
a baby blue.
Okay. North Carolina.
Yes,
Tar Heels.
blue. And then he wore a red number, which I would like to see come back. I was kind of hoping for today it was going to happen, but apparently not.
Was it related to his emotions at all? Do you
I don't
it's
think
like
so.
a mood ring.
A mood ring? God,
Maybe
I
he only
wish.
has one. Maybe I've been right.
He only has one, and it just fluctuates with the. Wow, I love the idea of that. It's weird because his character is that he is a reincarnated dragon. So if that's true, are we supposed to believe he is wearing gear, or is that just his face?
Is his like skin? Like portions of his scaly skin?
Lucha Underground asks a lot of strange questions.
Okay, so just the baby blue and the red.
Baby blue, the red,
purple moon.
and he wore black, and he wore a purple and blue number, and he's wearing a white and blue number. And
Well, that one sounds like he's probably coming off vacation. That's why it was affecting his mood.
It's a
at that
cabana
time. He just
Drago.
came back from
right.
the Caribbean.
That's right. And then he's also there's rumors that he's wearing green and gold. But like I said, I was hoping we would get some confirmation on that in this thing.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to that?
No.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Okay.
Is there something I'm missing from the routine? This hilarious routine that we do every week.
Stretching it out.
Oh, yes.
Cobra Moon actually hit a really great Hurricane Rana off the table onto Drago here. That's one of the best kind of pure wrestling moves I've seen from her. Oh my goodness! All we're doing is watching these. These
are
Joshi
the
girls.
three of them. These
Wow.
are all three right now.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
Yeah, you'll love it if you check out that. Take my advice. Just Google Io Shirai gifs, and you will see gifs of all three of these women battling each other.
This is awesome. This could be a really good thing for them in terms of getting more eyes. Because you've heard their ratings are not doing so well. I mean, not that they were all ever kind of blowing the world away, but it's like under 100,000 or something.
Yeah, what can they do? I just don't know.
No. Well, maybe this will be something. Matanza pile drives Mil Muertes on the outside. I thought that was nice. You don't see a lot of pile drivers in Lucha Underground. And Drago kind of clunkily with his kind of goofy pin there pins Cobra Moon. Do you remember this?
Yeah. The whole thing was super weird. It felt like such a non-event.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything to further their story. All the crazy stuff that they dropped in the men's bathroom, previously, wasn't really built upon here.
No, you're right. Yeah, why spend so much time pushing that just to have like not even like some small advancement here? Yeah, that's a good point.
I just don't get it.
No.
Oh, holy shit!
What?
Hold on a second. Where was that? Okay, longtime listeners will know that one of the first people to ever message us online was a guy by the name of Crystal Fisher.
I found him on Twitter this week, which is it's weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
So as we're talking, I'm flipping through Io Shirai gifs, And this one on some random GIF website was posted by Mr. Crystal Fisher.
That's awesome. How you doing, bud? Hope
We
you're
run
still
in the
listening.
same circles, Crystal.
Yeah, so Mil Muertes hits a car bomb on Drago, and he is eliminated. So that was quick and dirty for him. And then we get Rey versus Matanza. Johnny Mundo enters, hits a knee. Mil Muertes hits a spear. Codebreaker from Sexy Star. Mac with an enziguri, then a springer and a stunner and a springboard kick from Johnny Mundo. Then Rey Mysterio hits his 619, goes for a second and is caught, but then hits it into an infrared to steal the pin. And the place goes nuts. What did you think? Did you like this? I loved it.
Yeah, I did.
If there was a guy who was going to do it, this is great. A huge pop, like even like the look on, you get Ray's face, like he's surprised that he's done it. I love that kind of stuff. Go to the commercial, we come back, and Matanza's freaking out and beating up Ray. So there it is.
It's his first time he's ever taken a first pin.
Yeah,
first loss ever.
Yeah.
And it should the only person who can do that in this ecosystem. And still have Matanza stock beat. It is. It absolutely is.
Where dragons can Drago humans.
Dude, every wrestling promotion is an ecosystem, man. It needs to be very carefully managed.
Yeah. Symbiotic circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only person who can eliminate Matanza and still keep Matanza's stock as high as possible is Rey Mysterio. Nobody else could have done it. Maybe Mil Muertes. But then by having Rey eliminate Matanza,
more the
you can say
David Goliath.
Yeah, but you can also say, okay, well that was based purely on reputation, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we now have to go into a Matanza Rey feud. You know what I mean?
But
anybody
I think that
else
they have set up for that. I think that's where they're going. Why wouldn't they? But especially with the post-match beatdown.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Here, Vampiro says he is beating the shit out of Rey.
I know.
Also, did you notice I was going to mention with the Joshi girls after they had left? Vampiro said those girls are hot.
I know. Why?
I
It's
don't
just
know either.
Give me a break,
I
guys.
know,
We
I
don't
know.
need to be.
Nope.
We don't need that.
Nope. Johnny Mundo gave Matanza the middle finger there. That looked like an edit point. I started to see some edit points here. Matanza freaks out and pushes Dario Cueto.
That was a huge moment.
Yeah.
A couple of big moments for Matanza on this. 3, really. 1, losing. 2, Mariposa. Some weird romanticism there. And 3, pushing Dario.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Here we go. Yeah, so it opens things up.
It was so exciting.
So our final 4, Johnny Mundo, Sexy Star, Mil Muertes, and the Mac. Sexy Star goes for an early pin on Johnny Mundo, doesn't get it.
Jonathan
Mundopoulos. PJ and Jack Evans return, start to triple team Sexy Star. Stretcher's brought out for Ray at this point. Thought that was great. They're really this guy's lost, but here he's still a monster, still a beast. It's just a little more weird editing here. They had brought her over. It looks like they were bringing her over for a Starship Pain, but then all of a sudden she's back up on their shoulders.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
They did that cool little triangle thing between the three of them.
Yeah, they didn't quite pull it out.
I know.
Yeah,
I do. I like the.
I like the spirit of it.
Yeah.
I like the spirit of it.
And then who should arrive but Angelico up
awesome.
from his perch, what's kind of become Angelico's perch, and does that fucked up dive again.
Yeah,
which is great. Crowd's going nuts.
I loved it.
Sexy Star crawls over to pin Johnny Mundo. Great stuff.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I think an alternative to that, he could have been an actual participant and made his entrance that way. And then you wouldn't need Ricky Mandel. So whatever.
But then this way he doesn't have to get pinned, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah. I think for the most part they had these everything was planned. I bet you they had plans for 16 of these wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was probably some B plans so for other things. And then they just had to fill in the last thing with Sagrada and Famous B and Mendel or whoever.
Yeah, Famous B. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, well, he was in and he was out. That was a bit of a comedy bit with Ray that was okay, but whatever.
Yeah. That was another moment for me. Come on.
I wasn't mad about it. But these are little speed bumps along the way here. I'm still
it's true. They're the good far outweighs the bad in this. Like I said, most of my complaints are gear related.
Anyways, Mil Muertes hits that flatliner on the Mac is the best flatliner I've ever seen. Looked like he broke his neck. Incredible sell.
That's exactly what the striker's call is.
Did he?
He's like, his neck is broken, dude.
Yeah, it was great.
His neck is broken, dude.
So we get to, here it is, the final two. Sexy Star comes with punches and kicks. Mil Muertes replies with violence. Mil Muertes gets the table out, sets it up in the corner. Chair in the middle of the ring, and Sexy Star was, as she's pulled up, was able to counter with a DDT onto the chair, and then 4 hard headshots with the chair.
Yeah.
They all look good.
For the most part, they seem
somewhat safe, and especially because it's coming from someone who's a little not as strong as somebody who could really, do some damage.
It did feel like the first 2 or 3 were perfect head chair shots. Overhanded just on the traps or like the top of the back, so it kind of gave the same impression of unprotected one to the head, but wasn't the same. But the final one was just a straight chair shot to the head.
Mil Muertes catches her off the ropes, throws her at the table, and then Mil Muertes hits it after she moves. It gets a 2 count. The crowd is on their feet chanting, sexy, sexy. Mil Muertes hits a punch to the mush on Sexy Star, which at this point, I don't know if it was the right booking choice, because that is just a lethal thing. But he did take it, he didn't go for the pin there and then goes for the table, so he was able to set it up in the corner there. He brings her up to go for a flatliner. Then they cut to, did you see this? They cut to these, this is the first time you saw these kind of 4 women in the crowd.
Yeah.
You think they were plants?
Yeah,
I do too.
Would 100%.
But it was fine. It helped to tell what they were trying to get over here. He sets up the flatliner, but Sexy Star hits a couple elbows, and he falls on. Mil Muertes falls onto the table after the elbows. She hits the double stomp, and then grabs his leg for the 1, 2, 3.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I knew it was coming. I'm really surprised you didn't.
That was my other spoiler.
Oh, I thought you did. You had tricked me. Good. Yeah. Like I said, 4 1/4 stars. Sexy Star stands triumphant, tears in her eyes, and that's that.
I'm excited to be living in a post-spoiler world.
Yeah,
finally,
me too.
After 8 months.
Yeah. See, that was the one that was all over wrestling Twitter. There was no way to avoid it. And everyone was like, look who they're, yada, yada, yada. At the time, I was pissed off. I wanted to talk about how, all right, hit the fucking buttholes. Here we go.
Now, all of you, tighten up your buttholes!
At the time, it was absolutely nonsensical to be debating their choice when it came out, kind of thing, because you have no idea about what's going on in the stories. You have no idea how this match went down or how she pulled this off. I think it was absolutely fine the way that they booked this. So whatever, that's that. I think the only thing I would have possibly changed is had her get the Rock and hit him with the Rock to have him fall onto the thing, right? That could have been even a little bit more.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Then you got to get Katrina involved, who actually stayed out of this.
She did, but then that could have been the one little bit with her.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so since then, now there's.
That's for you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. I got another hot take. So again, keep those.
Ring the bell!
Ring the bell. Keep those buttholes tight. So now the biggest thing is a lot of people are saying, I remember somebody had tweeted, they really missed the boat to kind of make a statement with this, but first of all, who the fuck cares about making a statement? This was a good story. They told a good story throughout here, and it was a believable well, it's we're progressive. We've got a woman champion and things like that. But who the fuck cares? Nobody's.
Do you need to say it any more than just do it?
I know. I don't care. And finally, the last thing that people were choked about is that she's not the best wrestler. She's not as a Sexy Star, and I've said before, is not a good wrestler. Ivelisse and Taya are better wrestlers than Sexy Star.
Certainly Taya.
Ivelisse and Taya. No, Ivelisse is a better wrestler than Sexy Star. She is.
We'll see.
Have you seen Sexy Star pull off one of those kind of Code Red or Sunset Flip power bombs?
I suppose I haven't, but I haven't seen Ivelisse pull off much more than that.
Whatever. I think Ivelisse is great. I think she's a really good actor.
I love her. I love her. Don't get me wrong.
But okay, number 1, Ivelisse is injured. Number 2, Taya is injured and was not a babyface. I honestly believe that their long-term plan was Taya was going to get this spot. because they had been setting up dissension between her and Worldwide Underground
and Johnny Mundo.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense,
she mucked
because
up her ankle.
Because then next week, because Johnny Mundo has cashed in, so we know we're going to have Sexy Star versus Johnny Mundo next week, and that could have potentially been Taya versus Johnny Mundo, which is very compelling.
Right.
Oh, Travis.
Yeah.
That's how you do your job.
I really think so. So, this is presumptuous that Sexy Star wasn't their first choice, but it doesn't matter. She was for the story that they were telling here tonight. She was the best choice for the story that they were going to tell. And like people are talking about, who cares now? Because nobody's really saying anything about this. It's not making. I don't think they were trying to
I think that's
be provocative and.
Well, that's interesting because the nature of their shooting schedule, that basically the news of this breaking and all of the that the spotlight that could have shined on Lucha Underground, it happened in a time when there wasn't any way for them to really capitalize on it. So now they lose that sort of that magical energy that surrounds an event like this. I mean, I don't know. I'm totally cool with it. Gender politics aside, I'm just excited to have a new person in on the championship scene, because before, it just felt like it's been Matanza for so long,
and they did a great job with him.
Absolutely. But the people that he was facing off against, they were all the people that you would expect. And then this is a shock, but it is a shock in the best in the best way possible.
I agree. They told a great story.
Absolutely.
That's all. And this is in a template that is unique to this promotion. That is kind of become you know. Whatever people think about this is something that will be used in different forms. It already kind of existed in with Rumbles and things like this, but theirs is something different, and this was a key contribution. Look, we're doubting our contribution to the wrestling analysis. This is a real contribution to.
I agree.
In terms of adding a new template to the stories that are being told. And like I said, I don't think this was as good as the first or second one, but it's still awesome. And like I said, to see an an ensemble working together where it's less about kind of the competition you get in some of these other things, and no one's going to not put somebody over. This is everyone's committed to the cause here, and that's kind of renews your faith in pro wrestling, man, is when you see something like this. At least it did for me anyways.
Totally. This is the quality that I come to expect from Lucha Underground now, and I think at times maybe that's not fair to Lucha Underground, because this was really high quality. The decisions that they made in terms of booking, in terms of storytelling, I thought were all pretty much top notch. And when they weren't, we can give them the benefit of the doubt and say, all right, well, maybe they just wanted to give Ricky Mandel a paycheck, or maybe they had some injury stuff to deal with. But it certainly wasn't so egregious that the overall, it certainly didn't hurt the product as a whole.
No.
It was all super logical. It all made total sense. If you compare it to other organizations whose booking has been, compare this to
borderline
WWE.
User hostile at times, right?
Yeah, it just makes
they've been the equivalent of Apple's new headphones not going into the thing, right? It's like you're going to take it and you're going to like it and you're going to buy it.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Yeah. So they deserve a ton of credit for this.
Yeah,
for sure.
And another thing that some of the people are talking about is just people just aren't into. Like I said, the ratings are down, and people have kind of got past the whatever the gimmick was and the idea. But it's a TV show. It's a TV show that has wrestling and great wrestling matches in it. Yeah. And as a TV show, in terms of telling a story and just having direction, that is such a rarity in wrestling that you can see the long-term direction. This is good. We know where we're going with this, or at least you can tell they have a plan.
And what's interesting is that those numbers, those ratings that we're seeing, those are just for in the U.S. Yeah. And we can't forget that Lucha Underground is a worldwide. It's an international program.
It's Worldwide Underground.
It is. It is. I would love to know what are their numbers in Mexico? What are their numbers in Canada? Probably not very good. But we have a very, very small population. Yeah. What about it's airing in Germany, and it's airing in Japan, and Japan is wrestling insane. So get themselves into India, and then they really got something going.
Yeah, and I think like whatever. I think like people are having their hot takes now, but I think whatever, years from now when you go back and you watch each of these Aztec Warfare matches, you'll say like, yeah, no, these are really well done. These are all really, really well done. Of course,
what kind of monster would say they were poor?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, like, and that's not really been the thing. Most people say, yeah, it's a great match, but it's still like, they're just, a lot of people are saying they don't care about Lucha Underground anymore. A lot of the pundits, or they think that it's kind of, it's kind of finished its course. It can't,
I think that's insane.
I do too. I think
they're just maybe suffering from this sort of like opening act fatigue. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been vocal about it. Yeah. Like I will wish that we got to Aztec Warfare 3 episodes quicker.
Yeah. There is more freedom to be ferociously creative in.
A little stutter there, Trav.
Yeah. I'm hot. That's what I said at the end of my at the last podcast. I was excited to talk about this, not just because it was a big match, but also because. There's a lot of, I don't know, things that were
Trump's
just kind of rubbing me
bro.
the wrong way. Yeah, you're right. Trump's America.
Trump's America. Yeah. A woman can't be, a Mexican woman is going to be the champion? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Next week, here's the preview for episode 12. A Lucha Underground Championship match, which is going to be Mundo versus Sexy Star. Oh, the episode next week is called Every Woman is Sexy. Every Woman is a Star.
Fantastic.
So a Lucha Underground Championship match. Black Lotus returns to the temple, so we'll get some explanation from her about her motivations, one would hope. The Rabbit Tribe arrives.
Finally. There we go.
Yeah, and here's a real curveball. Katrina confronts, any guesses, Trav?
Mil Muertes?
Oh, that would be a curveball. Mm-hmm. Katrina confronts Jeremiah Crane. Why?
He has attachment to Evilise.
I suppose that's true.
That's probably what it's about.
Yeah. Maybe they know each other.
What's your over-under on episodes where Sexy Star has the...
man. Great question. The over-under. So if I was the bookie and I want people to bet above or below it, 1.5.
Yeah. I was gonna go 3 just to be generous.
If somebody was like more or less, you can't, because the way betting over and under is where you have to go 0.5. Trav. Mm-hmm. You have to go 0.5.
Right.
So is it a 3? Are you suggesting 2.5 or are you suggesting 3.5?
I'd say 2.5. I'll give an extra one there.
I would take the bet on the under. On that one.
I would too. I think it might even be under 1.5. I think we might.
Me too. Listen, I could see on a one-on-one match against Johnny Mundo, I can see Sexy Star coming out of that. But the way the other competitors in this organization have been built, Sexy Star versus Mil Muertes one-on-one, there is no conceivable way that Sexy Star can beat him one-on-one. Same thing with Matanza. Same thing with I don't know who else would be a competitor. Rey Mysterio, I guess. But I could see her picking up a win against Pentagon Dark. I could see her picking up a win against any other person.
Yeah, but just not... Who did you say? Mil Muertes? Just not him?
Mil Muertes or Matanza, no way.
Yeah, I mean, even some of those other names you name are a little tougher to buy, just because they have to be... Her best match, as we talked about, is the No Mas match, and that was... not a lot of wrestling in that match. But
well, I'm not saying in terms of like a great performance. I'm just saying who in the world,
based on what the kind of rules they've set up,
they've established. I could Pentagon Dark has lost a lot of matches. If it's a one-on-one between them,
I love that that he's going to be involved in the feud with Lotus and the Triad. I think that could go into some good places.
I am really weirded out. I want such big things from those Joshi girls. I'm
worried you're going to disappoint yourself.
I'm just nervous. I'm nervous that they won't be given. Listen, I think that they'll be given time to shine. I think they'll make a huge impression in the ring.
They'll be given time to shine or to shimmer, or on their way to
stardom. Nice. That's inside baseball. Yeah, no, I listen, this is not a sensitive program, and I worry that with all this stuff, like here, I guarantee you that when they have their first match and Matt Stryker is calling it and Vampiro is calling it, it's going to be, man, they're so hot. Again, and like everybody's kung fu fighting. Yeah, it's like, oh, gross.
Yeah,
you're right. It's going to be... You're right. This is not going to be good.
Man, that'll go on the soundboard if that happens for sure.
Yikes.
It'd be Nostradamus over here.
Boutros, golly!
So, I noticed you weren't on the... you got anything else you want to add to this? I noticed you weren't on this most recent episode of
Squatchcast. I was in Japan when they recorded
right.
it. Yeah,
that's right.
But I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah. I didn't finish it because I didn't hear your voice, to be honest.
You. Yeah, we're recording our 10th one this week, and it will likely be the last, I think.
You think so?
Yeah. I have a feeling it's going to be the last one.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, it's been fun to get together and talk about Sasquatch and learn about Sasquatch on air. But I don't know. I'm not as involved in like in the production side of it, so I have no idea what the numbers are or anything like that. But my feelings are that we're not getting a lot of traction.
Yeah. So, see, well, like the first thing I learned is like I always called it Sasquatch. Sasquatch.
No, very wrong.
So I'm dropping very soon, probably on Monday. We recorded episode 7 of our History of the Stampede territory. We had like I talked about, our friend Rick joined us. It was great. We talked a lot longer than we normally did because we're just reminiscing, and we're at the 87 time, just before the Olympics are coming into town and stuff. So there's a lot of little things we were picking up on, and we're watching stuff from VHS tapes that has the kind of commercial bumpers that we'd see like kind of growing up, and it's just like this part of my subconscious all kind of just comes like rushing back, right?
Wow.
It's really cool. And the footage stands up. It's a really good hot feud.
Did Liger show up?
No.
Still not?
No, I think it's not until 88 or 89.
Oh, okay. Keiichi Yamada.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for sticking with this show, because it is a great show. It's still, it's my favorite weekly wrestling show. I don't just say that because I'm doing a thing. And there was a time when NXT, I probably would have said NXT was my favorite weekly wrestling show. Or when the Cruiserweight Classic was on, that was probably maybe the best weekly wrestling show ever.
Yeah.
But like right now, like this is what I get excited for. And it's not always the home runs, but I thought today was solid, super solid.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for next week's.
Me too, buddy.
Alrighty. That's it for us. We will be here next week.
The question is, will you join us?
I'm going to yoga tomorrow.
Yeah.
For the first time, for the second time ever, and for the first time in 2 years. And I'm scared.
Yeah, I imagine.
I'm nervous, and I'm scared, dude.
Back. You always hear horror stories about, oh well, it'll be long term.
Stacy got a free couples yoga session and massage. So
where at?
I don't even know.
Okay. Well,
and the other thing, I've never had a massage before in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, professional massage. So awesome. I'm looking forward to that. My bones and muscles are so stiff, Trav, that when I just like roll my shoulders, they are so tight around my skeleton that they just crack and pop.
Good God.
I wonder if I can even get it on Wait a second. Okay, hold on. I'm going to turn this down. Ugh. Can you hear that?
I could hear it. I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but I could hear it.
Yeah, so very excited to see how that plays out. But I don't know how I feel about having a stranger touch my naked body.
It's trust me, you'll feel great as soon as it starts.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I don't care about being touched.
Yeah.
I just I don't want I'm got terrible back hair and it's just awful situation. I feel bad.
My dad goes for pedicures and his feet are disgusting. So trust me, it could be a lot worse.
Fair enough.